All right, y'all, welcome back to GovCon Empire. Today, I am walking you through the Sam.Gov setup step by step, and I am dropping some real gems along the way. So if you have followed this channel for any amount of time, you already know everything I teach comes directly from my experience on the inside as a former contracting officer, procurement officer, and federal acquisitions director. So it's very important that you take notes, lock in, because if you are tight on time or looking for shortcuts, GovCon is not the lane for you. That was a nice little twist right there, right? But look, this game rewards focus, patience, and precision. So if you are looking to do something really, really fast, chances are GovCon is not for you, and you should probably, just to be transparent, you should probably go into a different lane altogether. All right. Now that that long disclaimer is out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Share screens. Now we're going to go ahead and sign in here. As you can see, you must agree to the Sam.Gov terms of use to sign in. If you violate our terms of use, you may lose access to Sam.Gov and we may take other legal action. Look, you all know the government is very policy driven. Let's sidebar real quickly here. Look, this right here is very important. Revolutionary FAR overhaul impacts to Sam.Gov. The Revolutionary FAR overhaul, by the way, FAR, Federal Acquisition Regulation. No, this is not fluff. This is something you need to understand, and this needs to be reiterated every chance possible. The FAR is the Federal Acquisition Regulation. It is the government contracting Bible. It is the top and final authority on all things government contracting, aside from the United States Code and the CFR, which is the Code of Federal Regulations. Now, the FAR overhaul is streamlining the FAR to its statutory roots and to policies necessary to support sound procurement. The effort will result in changes to provisions, clauses, and representations and certifications across FAR parts. These changes will impact SAM.gov, the official U.S. government website, where entities register to do business with the federal government. And it says select to read more. Let me go ahead and translate that to layman terms for you. Here's what they are saying. Think about it. It says that they're going to go to statutory roots. They're basically saying that over time, the government contracting procurement process has picked up way too much fluff to the point where projects that should take 6 months to move, it's taking more than 2 years. So what they're saying, they're now alleviating a lot of the this, though, thou, the, therein, herein, all of that unnecessary stuff that does not need to be there, so that contracts can move much faster. Also, notice the part about certifications. Look, right now, there's this thing going on where all 8A programs are now being vetted and audited. So it's important for you to know that the government cares more about compliance and alignment than they do your nice little pretty certifications. That's not to dismiss the importance of some of them, but the government cares more about you being able to solve problems for that agency, all right, than anything else. So let's go ahead and hit agree. What we got going on here? Waiting for Sam.gov. Let's give it a little time here. All right. Sorry for that little delay. Okay, so now, let's see, for email address, we are going to use one of mine. There we go. Derrick Green. And let's go ahead and hit submit. All right, now, when you are logging in, the Sam.gov, like a lot of other government entities, they use Login.gov as their third-party secure sign-in portal, okay? So once you do that, once you hit that, you should also see something. You should also get a message to your phone that's letting you know, and I'm looking for that. All right, here we go. So now, in this case, our login code that came to my phone is 596611. And let's hit submit. Okay. Agree to the terms of use. Change the site data. Let's just scroll down. You all know the deal. I don't have to read for you, right? You know how to read. All right. Now, we just emailed you a one-time password. So once again, I'm going to open up my phone and go to my email here and get that one-time password. And you'll do the same thing. So I get it. Sometimes it could be a little annoying to sit with me while the screen isn't doing much, right? But this is where it honestly takes a little maturity because you also need to be listening just as much as you are watching. If you don't understand the importance of all of those things, you probably will not win in this game. GovCon is not about entertainment. We know that most of the stuff we look at on online is very entertaining. We want stuff that can keep us, that can keep us interested. But Sam.Gov and the federal government system, that takes a whole lot of self-motivation. No one should have to keep you stimulated or keep you interested. Once again, if you need somebody to keep you stimulated or interested, if you need charisma, GovCon is not for you. You need to be doing something different. Go be a rock star. Now, let's go. So complete your profile. In this sense, the name of the individual that we're doing this for, his name is Harry. First name, last name is Golf. Now, what I will do, I typically do not encourage this, but I'm gonna put my phone number in here. Most of you already have my number anyway. As you all know, as most of you already know, look, if you are calling, you have to, in most cases, you probably won't get me immediately. All right, you will likely get a voicemail. So it's okay. Now, request role. So look, in the very beginning of Sam.gov, you have an opportunity to request a role. In this case, we're not going to do that today. That's not necessary. But when you request a role, that's so that whenever you log in, your Sam.gov portal for your business knows exactly who you are and what you are doing. All right. And as a matter of fact, you know what? We're going to go ahead and do this. Let's do it. Well, in this case, we'll have to come back because let's just do something here. Data entry. We'll just say data entry, domain, contract opportunities, and let's skip and finish. Let's skip for now. But let's go ahead and let me explain something real quick. Once you already have your unique entity identifier, you can actually it will allow you to be able to come back and request role as administrator or some sort of executive in your company, right? But anyway, needless to say, we're here and let's get into it. So what we want to do is take a look at this real quick. When you get into your Sam.gov entity, you see home, search, data bank, data services, help, pending request. Obviously, this is a new business, so there's not going to be any of that. No notifications. The name is Harry Golf. Now, for those of you who must know, Harry Golf, he is a very, very good friend of mine up there in the Washington, D.C. DMV area, which is my second home. I'm originally from New Orleans, for those of you who do not know. I currently live and run my business operations here in Houston. Now, but Harry Golf, he has a company that buys multiple large buildings and provides housing for veterans, housing for troops, housing for multiple Department of Defense and Homeland Security programs, returning citizens from overseas. So he's one of those accredited investors who's really working with a lot. All right, now. As you can see, entities, he's not going to have any entities yet because he is brand new. But going back here, this is one of my many email addresses. I'm doing this just to help him get started. And then once I get him registered and hand things over to him, he will obviously go ahead, he will obviously log in and switch everything over to him. All right, now add new entity. Let's go. Create new entity. Look, this is pretty straightforward. A lot of people are confused or they get overwhelmed when they think about the aspect of registering their business with Sam.Gov. But it is pretty straightforward. Welcome. You are about to create a new entity record. We will ask a few short questions to help us recommend the best option for you. Create new entity. Now, look at this. What is your goal? I want to do business. Select the option most relevant to you. Directly with the federal government, with another business or organization which receives funds directly from the U.S. federal government, or other. He wants to do business with the federal government. Select the answer that best fit for you. He wants to bid on a federal procurement opportunity as a prime contractor. Apply for federal assistance? No. Grants and loans? No. Follow agency instructions related to a federal credit card transaction made to my entity, just browsing, or participate in another U.S. federal government program. We're going to say bid on federal procurement opportunities as a prime contractor. Federal procurement opportunities, that means solicitations, which in turn, if you win, will obviously become a contract. Let's hit next. Now, who required your entity to be in Sam.Gov? Federal government. Keep it moving. It's that simple. On this part, you're going to see unique entity ID only, financial assistance only, or all awards. You don't want to leave any potential money on the table, okay? You want to say all awards. That could be contracts, grants, everything. So we're going to hit select. All right. Are you registering a government entity? No, this is a commercial entity. You're not a government entity unless you are a federal agency. And guess what? They get registered with Sam.Gov too. That's funny, right? All right. My entity is physically located in the United States. Hopefully it is. Hopefully yours is too, right? If your entity is not physically located in the United States, hopefully you are some federal contractor or someone who is authorized to do this, who is already pre-authorized to do business with the federal government. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, if you are trying to do business with the federal government and you are overseas, you are not physically located in the United States. Does not matter if you're on a military base, by the way. If you are not inside of the continental United States, you are going to have a lot of red tape unless you have a firm like ours or someone else representing you. All right, let's go. Let's move on. Do you already have a CAGE code? CAGE code is that is an acronym for commercial and government entity. It is a 5-character alphanumeric identifier assigned to entities located within the United States and its outlying areas by the Defense Logistics Agency CAGE program. All registrations go through CAGE code assignment and validation. The CAGE code is different from the unique entity ID assigned in Sam.Gov. It is used by the federal government for procurement and acquisition processes like invoicing or pre-award verification. Here's the deal. The CAGE code, look, a lot of people confuse this. When you initially register for Sam.Gov, you're going to get that unique you're going to get that that unique entity ID or UID. A lot of people think that when they have that unique entity ID that they are ready to do business. No, that just says that you're initially in the system, but you cannot do business or receive any kind of financial based award, monetary award from the government until you receive that CAGE code. In this case, we still want the CAGE code because we don't even have the UID yet. So let's keep it moving. You will be registering a business or organization for all awards. We don't need this. Let's go. All right. Now, look at the screen. This shows you all of the different things we're going to go to. So here are the things that you will need, right? You're going to, here are the things that you will need to get through, excuse me. Look at this, entity search, confirm details, review entity information, add incorporation details, document upload in some cases, review, then business types, taxpayer information, entity relationships, financial information, legal proceedings, goods and services, business operations, more registration details, points of contact. All right, let's go ahead and go. Next, so business information. Now, legal business name. So in this case, the name of the business is right here in front of us. I'm going to move to a different screen, but just so that you all know, I'm still here. It's called Vertical Leap Learning Center. I'm giving Harry we're giving these folks a lot of props. So many of you might want to learn who this person is and reach out to him, because this person, he's already done the work to build relationships. So he's actually backtracking. He has some contracts that are already guaranteed, that are already coming to him, because he has already proven that he's one of the only businesses that does business the exact way that he does it. So anyway, let's keep it moving. It's vertical leap, learning center incorporated, and that's exactly how the business is listed. He actually put the word incorporated into his business name. Vertical Leap Learning Center Incorporated. Doing business as, he currently does not have a DBA. Country, United States, address line. And here's where you're going to put your address line. 9910. Here we go. I'm moving slow to make sure we don't have any mistakes here. And I'm going to explain why in a quick second. Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Yep. All right. Look, Upper Marlboro, Maryland. That is one of the beautiful suburbs of the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. It's on the Maryland side, but for those of you who understand the lay of the land, Southern Maryland and Northern Virginia, the towns along Southern Maryland, rather, throughout Prince George's County, where else? Montgomery County, as well as all of those towns in Northern Virginia. All of those act as the suburban communities to Metro Washington, D.C. Now, we typed in this business, and I'm gonna show you exactly why I just said what I said in terms of moving slow in this regard to make sure that you type everything in correctly. Because Sam.Gov is now searching Sam.Gov is searching to make sure that the way you typed it into Sam.Gov is the exact same way that is on your state's Secretary of State website information, or within their database, rather, right? So in this case, they did their thing properly, because guess what? It came up in two instances right here. Now, here we go. So we found these matches. Vertical Leap Christian Center. That's not it. That's obviously with them, but we have this one, Vertical Leap Learning Center. This is the one. Now, I'm going to tell you this. When you type your information into Sam.Gov, if it does not automatically register, if it does not automatically come up, you will probably have delays receiving your cage code. All right, let's hit next. Confirm details. You see how simple it is when you do the things that you need to do with your state? All right. No, do not. Everything looks good. Do not update. Everything looks good. Next. All right. Review entity information. Check entity details. Vertical Leap Learning Center. Yep, doing business as, we don't need any of that yet. Looks good. Next, let's go. Same as physical address. Next. All right. If you need to pause and take notes, do that because we don't want to prolong this unnecessarily. There are some parts where we're going to prolong because there are certain things I need to explain to you. All right. Now, so entity dates and incorporation details. I'm looking on my other screen to see what date is on his state of Maryland Secretary of State data. All right. So let's go ahead and do this here. Let's look and just, if you want to go ahead and take some notes, you can do that while I'm doing this. We're just gonna, there we go. Filing date is April the 2nd, 2025. Okay. State of Maryland, why y'all got those numbers so small? It's like tiny. And I actually have 20/20 vision. So if it took me long to find it, sheesh. Excuse me, 25. There we go. Day is 02, excuse me. Yeah, that's right. Reading is fundamental, Derrick, right? Now, for the fiscal year end date, we're gonna set his as, let's roll with the federal government. So we're gonna set his as September. So October, November, December, that's the first quarter. And let's just say September 30th, all right? So his new fiscal year date will open. It will begin on October 1st. But let's verify how many dates we have in the month of September. Yes, I thought that was it. All right, we're good to go. Now, business information review. We did all of that. If you need to pause this, go ahead and do that. All right. Submit this request for unique entity ID. Take a look. I certify under penalty of law that I am authorized to conduct transactions for this entity. For those of you who are listening, yes, me and this individual, me and this business, we are already contractually working together for me to do this for them. All right. So no one is breaching any legal parameters here. All right. So they have been signed just like that. He already has a unique entity ID. So Vertical Leap Learning Center, CDC, has been assigned the unique entity ID. And by the way, everyone, this is public information because if you want to follow what he is doing while he's making those huge moves up there in the DMV, you need to know how to find him on Sam.Gov. You can do a unique entity ID search. I will do a subsequent video to this one teaching you all how to do that. Or I may just add it on to this one once we're done as a little treat for those of you who are patient enough to stick around. All right. His unique entity ID is spelled phonetically Golf 1, Foxtrot, Whiskey, Foxtrot, Delta, Juliet, Quebec, Tango 7, Golf 1. All right. Continue. As you know, if you need me to slow down, you can go ahead and press pause. Now, what is your relationship with this entity? I'm an employee or officer. Yes, he and I are in business together. I certify that I am authorized to conduct transactions on behalf of this entity. Continue. Before you start, check your IRS or tax record. You must provide taxpayer identification number, the most recent year your entity filed paperwork with the IRS, taxpayer name and address as it appears on your most recent tax return. All right, here we go. Let's go. Employer identification number. So EIN, once again, We can do it on this video because EINs, that's public information. His social security number would not be. All right. All right, let's go. However, we are going to stop the screen share when it's time. When it's time to do his banking information. Yes, that is a requirement. Let's see. Most recent tax return year. We're going to have to say 2025 because the business just began. So, taxpayer name. His name is Mr. Derrick Golf. Look him up. He's doing big things. Taxpayer address. Physical address. Look, this is the easiest way to do this, by the way. Let me give you some of those gems. When it asks you questions like this, right now your main concern, your main objective is to get this done as quickly and efficiently as possible without any interruptions or obstructions. So don't make this harder than it needs to be. As you're going through this, you want to if they give you options like this where it says, my physical address is also my taxpayer address, dude, that is a no-brainer. Just roll with that. Let's move. IRS verification. All right, individual executive. All righty, let's roll. So, executing consent. Yeah. There we go. We're gonna put on. Let's put on. All right. Let's go. Save and continue. All right. So here we go. Taxpayer information review. Submit to the IRS. All right. A one-time password, OTP, was sent to your email. It may take a few minutes to receive it. Please wait here until you have successfully submitted your OTP. All right, let's go back to that email address again. And here it is. Here's that OTP. 400639. All right, submit. Now, you must provide entity classification, entity type, entity structure, institution type, financial structure, profit structure, operational aspects, which include organizational factors, manufacturer of goods, socioeconomic information, socioeconomic categories, if applicable. Let's start. Business category, entity structure. This is not. This is a corporate entity tax exempt. It's important. Most of you will probably go into partnership or LLC or limited liability partnership. All right. But in this case, this is a corporate entity tax exempt. Profit structure, nonprofit. Most of you will probably be for profit. That's the most popular for most of my clients and partners and people that I've seen do this, as well as us, Sky Acquisitions and Sky Project Management. Institution type, CDC, Community Development Corporation. Organization factors. Let's see. Choose your business structure. Let's get foreign owned, small agricultural cooperative, excuse me, limited liability company, subchapter S corporation. We're going to put not applicable for this piece. All right. And by the way, that's optional. Manufacturer of goods, optional. Is the entity a manufacturer of goods? No. Country of corporation, United States. Save. Oh goodness. Let's back up. Wait. Let's go back. How did we miss this? State is going to be Maryland. All right. Let's go. Let's keep it moving. All right. Community develop. excuse me, Community Development Corporation owned firm. Native, nope, nope, nope. Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, no. Save and continue. All right. Business type review, business category. Pause if you need to pause and look at this. All right, let's move on. Okay. Entity relationships. Have this ready. These are the things you need to have ready. This is what you must provide. If you need to read this, pause. All right. Immediate owner. Does another entity own or control the entity you are registering? No, because I am the designated registrar in this case. I even have a power of attorney to do what I'm doing right now. But so I'm actually acting as the owner. I can actually sign for him as well in this case. I have a general power of attorney for just for the moment. Does another entity own or control the entity you are registering? All right, let's keep it moving. Predecessor. Are you a successor? No. Are you a successor to a predecessor that held a federal contract or grant within the last 3 years? No. All right. Entity relationships review. Immediate owner. Does another entity own or control the entity you are registering? No. Predecessors. Are you a successor to a predecessor that held a federal contract or grant within the last 3 years? No. Matter of fact, let's see what options they have here. All right. Control. No. Okay. All right. Let's keep it moving. Okay. Now, financial information. You must provide, if applicable, bank account and routing number, U.S. entities or remittance address, non-U.S. entities for electronic funds transfer, bank account information, including bank name, address, and phone number. A full name of 5 people in your organization, including any owners or partners who earned the most total compensation. All right, so let's get started here. Does your company accept credit cards? We're going to say yes. We want to always give that option. All right. To complete this section, you will need to add a financial account. The government will use this information to pay you. Make sure this information is accurate to avoid delays and payment processing. Add an account. All right. Now, banking information. Here is where we need to stop the screen share for a moment, obviously, right? All right. So now you're going to put your routing number in here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pull this information up and put it on this screen here. All right. By the way, it is very important that this information is accurate because if it is not, you won't get paid, whether you're a nonprofit, for-profit. There are cases, the reason why we said that we want him to be, let's explain this. The reason why we want him to be able to accept credit cards, even though he's a nonprofit, his company is a nonprofit organization, because sometimes the government will pay you using a P card. We're not sure if that's currently happening right now with the use of grants, but you never know. There are so many the government has so many modernization initiatives going on. So I would not be surprised to learn that the government is using purchase cards to pay monthly stipends and monthly grant disbursements for nonprofit organizations who are registered in the United States federal government system of award management. All right, let's go. So this part, you're just going to have to listen in. Use that discipline and to take notes. Now, routing number. No, I'm not going to call that out. If you want to know his routing number, it's 00000. All right. So this is the part where you need to grab your coffee or whatever it is that you're doing. Go ahead and do that. All right. Let's see. Oh, they're not gonna. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think he did like the old school digital scan. Not a P. It's not a PDF, but that's okay. We still love you. We still love you, bro. Okay. All right. So account number is gonna go in. 1 second. All righty. And we're just gonna verify that this stuff looks the way it needs to look. This is huge. All right. Make sure the account numbers match, obviously. And I think we should, let's see. All right, there we go. Yep. Bank starts with TR. I'm not even, we're not even gonna tell anyone the name of the bank, okay? This is very serious information here. All right. All right. Now, let's go ahead and put this back over here. And we can now share the screen again. Okay, now, and now, here it's asking for payment address. We need a mailing address for payments if payment by direct deposit is unavailable. The good thing about this part, this can be public information because you can't take anything from him on this one, right? If you want to send him some money, that's on you. You are definitely permitted to do so. The United States, there are no federal codes or regulations that I am aware of, or ordinances in the state of Maryland that prevent you from randomly sending someone a monetary gift. I do believe you, however, you're going to need to report that to the IRS, though. Or maybe he'll have to report that he received it. And I know many of you who already know me personally, who've done business with you, you're probably getting a kick out of me sitting here talking so much trash, right? All right, but that's okay. Whatever we need to do to keep everybody alert. All right, street address, once again. We're going to go with the same. My goodness, Rosaryville Road. My goodness, this sounds so much like something in Maryland, in suburban Maryland. Yeah. All righty, Marlboro, Maryland, and so yeah, so payment address. This is the part that you will do after you give your accounting and your account and routing information for your business bank account. Look, if I have not stated that, you will need a business bank account to do business in the United States federal government system of award management. You do not want to attempt to use a personal account. Look, they might accept it. They may or may not. There was a time that they did. I'm not sure if they still do, but you need to get a business account. Chances are, when the system does its final vetting, it's going to make sure that everything you type in here matches that of your business. Those essential things anyway, such as address, the name of the organization, the business banking account. All right. So let's see. All fields must have valid data in order to save the payment. So let's go. Let's see. Oh, to satisfy that requirement. All right. Let's see what it gives us now. There we go. All right. Now that was a little that was a little bit of a cluster there. However, okay. However, look, if well, that's one of those things I have to say again. Look, you can always if you're tight on time, you could always pause it and come back to it. But my mindset is if someone is tight on time and they're trying to do this and they just want to go ahead and rush things, look, me personally, I personally think that you probably should be doing something different if you know if this isn't if this isn't something that you actually have that you don't feel is worth slowing down for. Okay. All right. Now look, executive compensation in your entries preceding capital fiscal year. Did it receive 25 million or more? New company, so he obviously did not. If you need to read this, you already know. You can go ahead and pause the screen. All right, let's go. Such course goes, yep, executive compensation. All right, no, save and continue. Now, legal proceedings. If your entity has received federal contracts or grants worth 10 million or more, you are required to report any proceedings filed against your organization or its principal in the past 5 years. This includes criminal, civil, administrative. It is important to represent your entity truthfully. You certify what you enter is accurate, and if it's incorrect, you can be subject to bid protest or loss of federal awards. All right, proceedings. If is your entity, if excuse me, please provide information about any proceedings involving your entity in the last 5 years or currently ongoing. Is your entity responding to a federal procurement opportunity that contains the provision at FAR subpart 52.209-7, subject to the clause in FAR 52. Not to, excuse me, 52.209-9 in a current federal contract or applying for a federal grant opportunity that contains the award term and condition described in 2 CFR 200 Appendix XII. All right, or Appendix 12 for those who want to be smartasses, right? All right, it's going to be no. Now, CFR, Code of Federal Regulation. And we're going to say no. Let's save and keep it moving. Legal proceedings review. No. Save and continue. All right. Goods and services. Before you start, identify NAICS codes and product and service codes that best describe your main line of work. Excuse me. A primary NAICS code, a product service code, optional, number of employees, annual receipts. Now, a primary NAICS code. NAICS, that is an acronym. Well, it's NAICS, obviously, and it is a acronym for North American Industry Classification System, for those who do not know. All right, now, in this case, he is providing, so guess what? It's this simple, folks. Look at this. Watch this. It's as simple as Google.com, right? And watch this. Make code for housing. Let's say housing. Let's say housing providers. Look at this. 624229. All right. So that's 624,229. That's going to be his next code. Let's start. So all you do is come back here, right? Can we copy? Yep. It's that simple. Look, uh-oh. There we go. Paste. And it came right there for us. Let's try again. Yeah. Ah, there we go. Okay. One selected, right? Okay. Ah, add. Reading is fundamental, huh? Okay, let's save and continue. All right. Product service code. Let's see. For now, we don't need to do that at the moment. Okay, number of employees worldwide. And this right here is as simple as a question. So we're going to actually call him because I forgot how many employees he has. Hi, Mr. Golf. How's everything going? We're almost done. What is the number? How many employees we got? Just two. Okay, sounds good. That's all I need. I'll call it. I'll call if I need more information. All right, thanks. Thanks. Bye bye. Two. Location is optional. Annual receipts right now is 0. Include affiliates, companies. How can they say? We're just going to say 1, okay, for now. All right. Location, in this case, is optional. Look, everyone, let me just put something out there for you. The point is to get through this and you obviously want your information to be as accurate as possible, right? We always want to deal in integrity, but also understand that you will always be able to come back and correct things if necessary if you make a mistake. But even those people like myself who's been doing this for many years, the Sam.Gov portal, a lot of times they change their requirements, they shift a little bit. And so even many of us, we aren't going to always be perfect with getting through this. But the whole point is we want you to understand how to get through this. Now, it looks like we have an issue somewhere in goods and services and NAICS code. So let's back up real quick. Let's back up. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. So let's do this. Let's still go ahead and let's give them something. Mm-hmm. So let's do, excuse me, product service code. You just want to make sure. All right. Maintenance, repair. All right. So in this cases, there's none. There is no product service code because they don't actually have products. You know what I mean? But we can go through it if we want to just say let's say if there's something in miscellaneous here that talks about it. Okay. Nope. No. No. There's no product. There's no product service code in this regard. So we shouldn't have any problem. All right. Let's see. But let's go ahead. Let's back up a little bit. Let's get let's see. Where are we right now? Goods and services. All right. Primary next code. All right, let's go. That's what we missed. All right, let's go. Save and continue. All right. It's letting you know that whenever there are any penalties it's letting you know that whenever you misrepresent your business size, that there are penalties. Here's why. There is a business size requirement for most contracting opportunities. As you read through your RFPs, request for proposals, your IFBs, invitation for bid, solicitations, sole source, so on and so forth, right? They are going to let you know within the specific requirements component of that RFP, that RFP, sole source opportunity, invitation for bid, sources sought, and every other solicitation type that's out there. They're going to let you know the business size requirement. The business it's going to say business, in most cases, size standard. All right. So that's why that's important. That actually affects how people can get awarded. That actually affects evaluation criteria and competitive range. There's so many different components to that. All right, but we'll talk more about that in some of the ongoing videos. And some of the things that I'm currently talking about right now, it's already included in the video library on this channel. All right, let's go. Now, business operations, you will provide disaster recovery, disaster response registry, security clearance levels, EDI information. All right. If you need to read this, pause. Okay. Security levels, highest employee security level. Right now, it's non-applicable. Highest facility security level. Right now, non-applicable. But the options are government top secret, government confidential, government non-classified. All right. So if you want to take time to read through that, you can do so. Electronic data interchange information. Do you want to enter EDI information for your non-government entity? No, not at the moment. It's not necessary right now. Disaster response registry. Complete this section if you want to be listed in the disaster response registry to potentially provide debris removal, distribution of supplies, reconstruction, and other disaster or emergency relief services in the event of a national disaster. I would always say yes, okay? Does your entity require bonding to bid on contracts? No, it does not. Geographic area served. Please choose 3 geographic areas your organization can work. Contracting officers will search for vendors to provide products and services in these areas where there is a FEMA declared disaster. Now, the reason I said we want to list this company in the disaster response registry is because that's always a great opportunity for housing providers, especially in areas like Maryland, where they don't have to deal with all kinds of crazy flooding and stuff. All right. Sections of Maryland, anyway. I lived in Maryland for many years. I've never known it to flood. For those of you who do know Maryland to deal with like real flooding, I'm not talking about 2 inches of water, but real flooding. Please comment in this video so that I can come back and make the appropriate corrections. All right. But we're going to say all of United States. Let's go. So business operations review. Security levels, EDI, disaster response, geographic area. Save and continue. Points of contact. Before we proceed, you will need name, job title, address, business address, phone number, secondary name, so on and so forth. Let's start. All right. Accounts receivable. That's going to be, right now, It's going to be Mr. Golf himself. All right. Title is owner. And in this case, we can actually use his email. Golf, Derrick Golf at gmail.com. I'm going to put my number here for now because I don't want you calling this man. All right. We don't want that. And it says optional. Save and continue. Look, we want to allow him to come back and do these things, okay? So let's go. All right. All right, so if it's holding us up, let's go ahead. Let's do mandatory. Let's see here. All right. All right. Country, United States. We want to go ahead and keep the address very consistent. 9912 Rosaryville Road. And that to Marlboro, Maryland. And so I think, let's see here, electronic business. Okay. Needs review, needs review, needs review. Okay. So now, all right. And we're going to just go through this. Read. All right. All right, here we go. Okay. So, all right, when we expanded that section, so let's go back for teaching purposes, right? Okay. Now, what we want to do, we're gonna hit points of contact. Notice all of the red here. All right. So let's hit review. And the mandatory points of contact. Here we go. So electronic business point of contact, that's also one. So if you've already put something in the initial mandatory contact portion, you can come back to the top and copy what they already have in the previous section of this, right? Country, United States, street address. They're not giving us any grace here. They're making us type this manually each time, so that's okay. We can do that, right? Rosaryville. Rosaryville Road, 20722, excuse me, 20772. There we go. All right. And then government business point of contact. We're going to say the same. And countries, United States, same. Yeah. Excuse me. Rosaryville Road. 30772. All right. Now, okay. Country, United States, 99012. So all we're doing is coming back through all of these sections to ensure that the information is consistent. All right. Save and continue, and then review. And it looks like we have a winner here. All right. We don't want any red. So, all right, we are finally in the green. Beautiful. All right. Look, I know that this is a lot. Okay, let's come off the let's stop the share for a second. Look, I know that this is a lot, but you have no idea. Just sitting here, going through this process, watching me come back and correct the the red line areas, if you will, right? For lack of better terms. This, it's these things that's going to help you be ahead of your peers in this, all right? Because most people don't have the patience to sit through something like this. I'll tell you, if you don't, once again, this is probably not the industry for you, but you will gain so much insight and revelation and discernment just sitting here watching how I move through the system, even at my level of experience, and then come back and have to correct some of my errors. Okay, all right. So let's get that screen share back going so we can continue moving through this. All right. Financial assistance response. The financial assistance, the financial assistance representations and certification section is required for entities applying for federal financial assistance, including grants, cooperative agreements, loans, and other types of federal financial assistance. Let's get started. Does Vertical Leap Learning Center CDC wish to apply for a federal financial assistance project or program, or is Vertical Leap Learning Center CDC currently the recipient of funding under any federal financial assistance project or program? Let's say yes, all right, and just see what we have here. So, issue issue federal assistance, general certifications and representations. As the duly authorized representative of the Vertical Leap Learning Center CDC, I certify that the Vertical Leap Learning Center CDC, and you can read through this on your time. I'm actually familiar with this portion. All of this comes from the FAR. It comes from the United States Code and the CFR. Literally all of this. All right. So take some time to hit pause and review this. You can also take a picture of it with your phone Chat GPT app, and it will summarize it for you. That's a quick gem. Now, let's move here, do the same thing. Take a screenshot of this with your phone Chat GPT app and tell it to summarize. Tell it to summarize this information for you for Sam.Gov so that you can get a quick, simple understanding of it in layman's terms. Set your prompt up just like that, exactly what I just said. All right. Now, representations and certifications. You will provide for representations and certifications. At this point, he does not have any. Defense response if you want to do business with the Department of Defense, and architect engineer response if you selected specific NAICS codes. Let's roll. And we're almost done. All right, next. So this part, many of you who have done this, you automatically know the FAR response part. Once again, Federal Acquisition Regulation. That is the highest, that is the top, that is the governing body for all government contract, federal contracting acquisitions and procurement initiatives, okay? So you got to get through this part. Who are the persons who are the persons within vertical leap learning center CDC responsible for determining prices, excuse me, offered in bid proposals? Going to be, there you go. Excuse me, owner. Okay. Look, we may as well copy and paste that. Does Vertical Leap Learning Center, CDC, have other plants facilities? No, they don't. They do not at the moment. All right. And by the way, if I were you, I would pause the screen and look this up. FAR 52, FAR subpart 52, 52.203-2. I'm not going to tell you what that means because I really need you to look it up and understand it. And then if you have more questions about it, you can always email me, derrick.green@skyprojectmanagement.com. All right, let's go. Once again, pause the screen if you need to see what exactly is being said. But we want to get through this as quickly and efficiently as possible for to remain in context with this video. Most of this stuff for most of you will be no, all right? But I already know exactly what this is saying because I've done this a million times. For you, I'd recommend pausing this, hitting pause right now, and actually going through this so that you know exactly what's happening. All right. Our response 2. Is it owned or controlled by a common parent? That's for response number 2. No. Okay. Are any of their people and principals currently suspended, proposed for debarment, declared ineligible? Is anybody debarred from being able to do business with the federal government? No. Has any of his people been convicted by the law? Hopefully not, right? No. In the past 3 years, has anyone been notified of delinquent federal taxes? The answer is no. This is asking if any of the people has any type of civil suits, lawsuits. Has anyone been terminated? Been terminated from any type of government initiatives or barred in any kind of way? Basically, what this is basically asking? Has any member of this organization or the organization itself been indicted in any kind of way, form, or fashion, or has gotten any kind of trouble that would prevent them from being able to do business with the federal government? Answer is no. Or response 3. Okay. It's pretty much going to be a lot of the same type of stuff, but this is the tax aspect of the federal acquisition regulation initiatives. All right. Now, it's no. They don't deliver any products. All right. Has any end product delivered? No, they don't deliver products. Okay. Do they provide maintenance, calibration? Nope. All right. They don't do products. Here's why they ask those questions, because that affects how they will need to be taxed or how they can be awarded by the federal government. Let's go. Okay. Due to recent policy changes, some questions have been removed from FAR reps and certs, representations and certifications, and Sam.Gov. Basically, the government does not want you leaning on certifications for everything. They want you to focus more on being agency aligned. I'm going to tell you, a lot of people are emotional about this new initiative. Look, A lot of people are emotional about this new initiative to vet and audit everyone who is 8A certified. But I'm going to be honest with you. If you focus more on being agency aligned, meaning that your company has a policy structure that is set up to solve problems for the federal government, that to actually solve problems for the agency you want to serve, you will not rely on certifications. A lot of times people get all of these certifications and try to hustle the government because they think that certifications qualify them to do the work. No, they do not. The certifications in most cases do not qualify you to work with the federal government. What qualifies you to work with the federal government is having a proposal that validates the fact that you can help them solve problems. The certifications may help in a credentialing when it comes to credentialing, credentialing in a credential sense. Yes, it may actually help you, but it does not necessarily qualify you. All right, let's get back to the share. All right. No, none of these services. No. Nope. Nope. If you need to see what's being said right here, go ahead and pause your screen. No, they don't have any. Nope. No felony stuff. No unpaid tax liabilities. Nope. Nothing dealing with telecommunications. Any of that. All right. Let's go. And architect engineering response. Our records indicate that Vertical Learning Center, CDC, have not selected NAICS 541, 310, 320, 330, 360, 370, 410, 620, standard form 330, part 2 information is not applicable. All right, save and continue. No, they're currently not bidding on anything. So that's going to be grayed out, and so is all of these things. All right. All right. Review FAR, DFARS, reps and service. For those who don't know, DFARS, those are your defense. That's the defense federal acquisition regulations. All right. Read only provisions. This is where you read the provisions. Okay. For those of you who have never read these, you need to read these. I've been doing this for nearly 20 years now in terms of working for the federal government in the contracting sector. So, yep, this is good. Yes, nope. No. Following Executive Order 14173, we no longer collect the representations at paragraph D of FAR subpart 52.212-3, following Executive Order 14148. We no longer collect the representations at paragraph T of FAR subpart 52.212-3. All right. I have read. All right. Going on. Review. So I'm just going through this. I'm more than sure that we did everything we needed to do. We had a few hiccups where we had to go back and change and modify some things to make sure that we were in compliance. But we can go ahead and hit submit. And To submit your registration, request a one-time password to be sent to the email address on your account. Please note it may take a few minutes to receive the email. Do not perform any other actions with this entity until you have successfully submitted your OTP. All right, now, here we go. So thank you for sticking around. There it is. Thank you for sticking around. It's been a while, right? 69101. Confirm password. All right, registration is submitted. And back to Workspace. And by the way, we also have our unique entity ID here. All right. So thanks for sticking through this intense video, and hope to see you soon.